So we know that love never dies. During the holiday season, it is so important to remember our loved ones and to know that we are ageless, timeless beings. And so we can attune and talk to and say hello and have conversations and even ask for signs. I'm prompted to share one of my best friends, her father had died. It was Christmas time, and she and her son were in their living room with the Christmas tree, and suddenly there was a white butterfly. Wow. In the middle of winter. Yeah. And they had been talking about her dad, and she said to her son, "You see the white butterfly around the tree?" He said, "Mom, I see it." And then it disappeared. Yeah. So we can have incredible manifestations. We remember that love never dies, especially during this time. So, my beloveds, this was such an interesting message I received in meditation. I received this statement, and it is the title of this talk: For Long Life, the Calculus of Surrender. In order to have a long life, we must practice the calculus of surrender. So I will start with an opening scripture, because I love to do that, because here as a New Thought truth student and metaphysician in our tradition, we interpret the Bible metaphysically. What does that mean? We do not reject sacred texts out of spiritual immaturity. We don't say that that's that old time stuff that's meaningless, silly, and old. We know that as metaphysicians practicing spiritual initiation, that there is spiritual frequency and meaning behind everything that we see and read. And the practiced student or initiate remembers this. So we don't reject, we look for, we mine for the spiritual gold behind the illusion of the fairy tale, the allegory, or that silly Noah story. Well, in that silly Noah story, there's a lot of spiritual truth that can help your life, that can help you awaken. Dr. Joseph Murphy, one of the most incredible metaphysicians and New Thought ministers of the 20th century, had a church with 4,000 people in LA, wrote The Power of the Subconscious Mind that sold 60 million copies. Please, young, old, in between, read that book. It's phenomenal. But Dr. Joseph would say the Bible is a text that can show you how to get into trouble and how to get out of trouble. So we're trying to get out of the trouble of being negative thinkers and not realizing that we have triumph and we have victory in this season of confusion on the planet. Why is all this stuff happening? So we can awaken, so we can grow, so we can advance as a people, as individual souls. That's why this mess is going on. Oh, life is so bad, it's just so horrible. That's the ego. This is happening so that we can declare truth. We can declare higher principles, democracy, freedom, the freedom to be ourselves, the freedom to be the soul expression that we were created to be. That's why it's going on. If there's a mess in your life, it's calling you to a higher reality, to a higher way of being. We can't be children sitting there going, "Woe, woe is me. Oh, it's so bad. It's so terrible. I'm just not lucky. It's just so horrible." You're not getting it. This is a period of time for us. We're being called to practice these principles, to live them, to be them. Any principle that you are declaring in your life, you're going to become. If it's all fear, you're going to become that fear. You're going to manifest according to that fear. Believe me, I fall asleep to this truth myself. But I'm here to remind us today that if we want a long life, we must surrender to what is happening, because in that surrendering, we overcome. We rise into a higher frequency. I'm excited today, because I just see all the woes is me and it's terrible, it's going to hell in a handbasket all the time. We are being called to be spiritually awakened. Will you answer that call? That's personal. It's within you, but it's up to you. This is a really big exam. You can fail it if you want to, or you can pass it if you want to. So Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. This is in chapter 22 of Luke, verses 38 to 48. Then Jesus went out, as was his custom, to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples followed him. When he reached this place, he said unto them, pray that you may not come into the time of trial. Even Jesus, the greatest guru and metaphysician, it's hard, my beloveds, to come into a time of trial. You have to be prayed up. You have to have the mantle of the Almighty upon you. You have to have your spiritual armor. It's not to be fooled with. You take it seriously. Then he withdrew from them, about a stone's throw away, knelt down and prayed, Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done. Then an angel from heaven appeared to him and gave him strength. Then an angel from heaven appeared to him, them, and gave him, them strength. Beloveds, the moment in the Garden of Gethsemane is not only the story of Jesus, it is the story of humanity standing on the edge of transformation. Jesus represents the I am presence, the Christ mind, the Buddha mind. You don't have to use my words. The quantum field, your higher self, your higher power, it represents the God within each of us, the divine intelligence that knows when to release personal control and surrender to the infinite will. Jesus's prayer, not my will, but thy be done, is the formula for spiritual calculus, the holy equation of life that transcends fear, loss, and limitation. The cup that Jesus faced symbolizes challenges, transitions, initiations that confront us now on this planet. Climate change, social unrest, health crises, and the rapid evolution of consciousness. That is why time has sped up. You are not delusional. When it seems like time is going quickly, there is a spiritual evolution. We are being called to grow very quickly. Pop quiz, pop quiz, pop quiz, big exam, pop quiz, pop quiz, pop quiz, big exam. We are called to a rapid evolution of our own consciousness. So each of these is a collective Gethsemane. Everything that is happening is that midnight hour of the dark night, a collective one, because we all said yes to this time and place, regardless of your age, young, little, all of us, even the little ones. They said yes to being here because they're actually, their conscious mind has not developed. So they are a subconscious mind. They're just open. So they're taking in all this programming. What is the programming in your household? If you have young children around you or you're a parent, what is the programming? Is it fear? Is it complaining? That horrible in the White House? What are you programming into the subconscious minds of the youth around you? You have power. You have choice. It's a collective Gethsemane. I don't want to do this, God. I'm going to suffer. It's horrible. What have you asked me to do? Why am I here? I'm an elevated soul. Why did you send me to these people? They're crazy. They betray you. They lie. They like you one moment. Then they hate your guts. Then they're jealous. Then they say they love God, but they're really faking it. And those guys that you gave to be spiritual leaders, it's all about the status, the money, and they're not even aligned with you. Why am I here? Why did I come? That's how we're all feeling. So, but this is an opportunity for humanity to move from resistance to spiritual awakening and spiritual realization. Just as Jesus surrendered, opened the gateway for resurrection, for the metaphor that you can resurrect and ascend no matter what your circumstances are. That's the message of Easter. And you can also celebrate Ramadan, and you can also celebrate Passover. You can celebrate them all. You can be of different faiths. It doesn't matter. This is a spiritual, metaphysical fairy tale archetype to show us you can resurrect too. But first, you got to face that cup. First, you have to face that circumstance. You can't have the resurrection without the trial. And that's where we are. So it is Jesus's experience, Gethsemane, is a gateway of resurrection, our surrender, individually and collectively. It opens the way for planetary renewal. We are at a time, will we fail? Will we shrivel up and be a dark place, or will we be a light-filled place? This is the test for planetary renewal, beloveds. When we release our grip on old systems, rigid beliefs, and personal agendas, the angels of higher awareness visit us, guide us, speak to us, and strengthen us with new life, creativity, and direction. Gethsemane is the sacred classroom. So I'm going to speak an affirmation. I am passing in the sacred classroom. Can we say it together? I am passing in the sacred classroom. I'm an A student in the sacred classroom.
I'm an A student in the sacred classroom.
That's right. Gethsemane is the sacred classroom where the soul learns the only real power. The only real power is alignment with God, is alignment with divine order, is alignment with trust, is alignment with spiritual courage, is alignment with spiritual bravery, is alignment with spiritual truth. So it's not found through domination. It is found through devotion, not through grasping. I got to hold on to this thing because if I let go, I'll be destroyed. I can't live without this person, place, thing, or circumstance. It's releasing, surrendering with grace. My beloveds, I had to surrender my life last year when I was diagnosed stage 3 cancer, not to go back to it, but it's a big lesson on the screen of my life, but I had to surrender because it could go either way. And it was really looking like it was going one way. And I love life. I love dressing up. I love people. I like celebration. I like singing. I like having fun. I like life a lot.
We thought that was true.
Exactly, Darlene. And I had to surrender it all and know that I might be going across the veil to a higher life, to something unknown. And that was really scary. But that was wow, what a lesson. What a lesson. So now that I'm back to my normal self, because these experiences of whether it's a health crisis, a health opportunity, a financial opportunity, existential crisis opportunity, our higher self comes up, and I was an incredible being and I was so courageous. Now I'm afraid of going downtown to address my tickets on the car. It's like, what happened? Because the ego. So we're in these optimal, these heightened flow experiences, and then the great power within you comes through, and then you become ordinary again. And so now I'm beginning to grasp. I'm like, if I could let go of my life last year, why can't I let go of this friendship? Or why can't I let go of what's happening? Because that is the ego's test. That's the pop quiz. They keep on coming. You would think after the test I passed last year, I'd be done with all the tests. I'm not done. There's no being done with all the tests. The tests and the pop quizzes continue because we said yes. We said yes to being here in the sacred Gethsemane, in this vortex experience. So we no longer grasp, we surrender, we let go with grace. So as we gather in this sacred time, may we each whisper inwardly, and I will speak it, you can speak it to yourself. I too surrender to the presence that lives in me. I too surrender to the presence that lives in me again. I too surrender to the presence that lives in me. What are we fighting? So we live in a world that is obsessed with control, controlling time, controlling aging, controlling health, controlling outcomes. Yet the greatest secret of a long life is both spiritually and physically not control, but surrender. Surrender to the joy, surrender to the now. When you talk, my goodness, one of my dear friends, her grandmother died in Haiti 6 months ago at 106 years old. I have her picture. I can show you her picture. She lived in the wilderness, in the countryside, palm tree forest. She got up at 4 o'clock every morning. She had a woman who came by who was in her 40s who would help her with her little farm. She fed the animals. She prayed 2 hours in the morning, fed the animals. She was doing, without anyone realizing it, she was doing intermittent fasting because her first meal was at 12 noon and her last meal was at 6 every single day for the last 75 years. And my friend would visit the grandmother. She was very, very out in the outskirts. And the woman was like, oh, she cooks all her meals. So she was supposedly blind in one eye, and she could wield that knife and get the chicken and cut everything. She cooked all the time. Every Sunday, she would make a huge meal for a lot of the villagers. So they would come and visit with her. So companionship, the babies, the little kids, everybody, the new married couple, the people would come in and through, and she would feed them, and they would sit and eat with her all day Sunday after church. So at one point during the pandemic, she'd been complaining of going blind in one eye. The doctors could not get to her. And finally, a year later, the doctor went to see her. They went and did an eye examination, and they found that she could see in the so-called blind eye. And they said, Grandma, what did you do? And she said, well, I said to Jesus, I hadn't been asking him to heal my left eye. So I started healing. I started praying for healing. And then he told me to get some leaves for in Creole, we call it leaves, but herbal remedies. So I went to my garden and I would just put on the leaf. I would put a big leaf and all the other leaves. I would crumble them and put them on my eye and wrap my head. And the doctor said, can you see me? And she said, oh, I can see your shape. So she could see his shape by herself in a rural area with no doctor through prayer. And if you see her, she was in the frequency of joy. She hardly had any money. By Western standards, she utter poverty, and yet so rich, looked like she was about 70. I will show you her picture at 102. This is what is possible, surrendering. She didn't need anything. They would ask her, Nana, what do you need? We'll bring you clothes. She's like, don't bring me clothes, just bring yourself. She didn't need anything in this world. She had enough. She was surrendered and lived to be 106 years old, went to bed and died. Did not die of an illness, died of long life or old age. So So we in this culture equate surrender with defeat, but metaphysically, surrender is the sacred yielding of the small self to the infinite self. We are being asked collectively to yield from the small self and surrender to the infinite higher self. Will you pass that test?
Yes.
Will you pass that test?
Yes.
Will you pass that test?
Yes.
Okay, I'm happy now. Okay. My happiness isn't based on your choices and what you do or don't do. It's based on my love and the love affair I'm having with the infinite, but I'm glad you're saying yes anyway. So it's the moment that we move from trying to trusting, from resisting life to receiving life. I have so much more, my beloveds. This is getting longer and longer. Let me give you some tips. Let me give you some tips. What are some things? What are some things that we can do? We can every single morning say thank you. Sometimes we don't have time. Open your arms wide and say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you is a prayer. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Christ. Thank you, I am presence. Thank you, angels, whatever. Say thank you. Say thank you in this time where some people are not getting their SNAP. There might be children who are going to, it seems like they're going to be children who are going to go hungry. But do you know what's going to happen? People are going to rally and share. It's calling us to the higher principle of sharing and giving and tithing and offering. You're going to get to know your neighbors. You're going to see people you've never seen. There's going to be building of community because we are going to rise higher. Meditate, pray, study. Once again, I've said, please pray affirmatively. I am, I have, I can. Yes, I have the victory. I'm healed and whole. Yes, I'm financially free. I know I'm financially free because I'm tuning into the frequency of inexhaustible wealth and abundance in the universe. God is my financial partner. God's wealth is my bank account. Affirm those things, know those things, study, do positive reading, let's watch positive movies. I believe that every single one of you present and all of you streaming in the future or watching me are spiritually sensitive and have spiritual gifts and talents. When you are spiritually sensitive, your crown chakra, your third eye is open. You can't just watch anything. Your ears are open. There are chakras in the ear. Don't take in all the negativity. It will find you. If there's a news story that you need to know about, you will know about it. Don't go searching for it because it depresses the body temple and the parasympathetic nervous system. It keeps you agitated, irritated, and in urgency and fear. And it's deliberate because when people make decisions out of fear, lots of other people benefit. So meditate and pray. Affirm, I am passing all of the spiritual tests in my life. I am passing all the spiritual tests in my life. No matter what happens, I can overcome it. I'm passing it. I'm getting through this. I'm not going to stay stuck here. It's all a spiritual test, no matter how it shows up. I am passing this spiritual test. I am not a victim. I am victorious. I am not a victim. I am a victorious soul and child of God. So, surrender. Let's not fight what is. What's happening, this movie that we're watching, accept it, surrender to it, but know that you are a spiritual being having a human incarnation. And like Jesus, the greatest guru and one of the greatest teachers of all time, regardless of your religious background, Father, take this cup from me, but let thy will be done. And when Jesus prayed, an angel appeared and gave him strength. When you pray affirmatively, when you align with spirit, the angel of the Lord will appear and give you strength to overcome the health challenge, the financial thing that's coming up, relational, and you will be able to overcome this world and triumph spiritually. And so it is.